Hey everyone, it is Jay Soloff from Investors Alley, and this is our options trade of the week. Before I get into it, I just want to say that this is a trade for educational purposes only. I have trading services that have actual recommendations like Option Floor Trader Pro. This is not one of those. This is just a separate trade for educational purposes, not an actual recommendation. Okay, that being said, let's take a look at what's going on today. So I'm here at marketchameleon.com and I go to the unusual options volume page because it's a good way to see what's going on in the market in terms of option trading that might be very large or in some cases unusual. Unusual would be more a large relative volume. So in like something like this where AT&T is trading 3.5 times what it normally trades. But AT&T is a big name, so you would expect it to trade a lot. Still, 730,000 options is quite a bit. What's also interesting to look at is calls and puts, right? So the more calls, generally it's bullish. The more puts, generally it's bearish. Not always, but generally when you're seeing this stuff, most people who jump into these trades are doing so for directional trading. So you see something like, Las Vegas Sands trading 90% calls. It tends to be bullish. There's probably some decent news out, although the stock is down 3%. So that's where you have to delve in and look a little bit more. So sometimes you'll see some names up here that you don't expect. Sometimes they'll be common names, but they'll just have a high relative volume. So one thing here that caught my eye was Nikola. So if you remember, this was a high-flying electric vehicle stock, and then kind of turned out that they really didn't have much of a product or anything, and they were in trouble losing their funding and all this stuff, and it plunged back down. So now, interesting today, the news is that they actually made a deal to put a couple hydrogen filling stations in California. So I have, there's two ways to look at this, right? One is that, okay, big deal. Two hydrogen stations in California, that means nothing. Is there any reason to believe the stock should be worth, almost $5 billion and up 15% today? On the other hand, you might look at it and say, well, nobody thought this company was actually going to have any products or anything at all. So the fact that they're actually doing something and they got a couple companies to agree to partner with them means that maybe it is legit. So there's a couple ways of looking at it. As you can see, again, the stock is up close to 15%. Most of the activity has been bullish. As we're nearing, late in the day, it's nearly 70% call. So it tends to be bullish, but we can look into that more, right? This is where we might want to delve in. So in this case, we'll go and we'll actually look at the stuff that's traded. And, Nikola is going to have a lot of retail, so a lot of one lots and things like that. So I like to sort by quantity, see what some of the bigger trades are. And, right away, you see a couple some interesting trades tied to stock. Those are generally like basis or sort of, relative value sort of trades, generally locking in maybe small amounts of profit. But so the interesting stuff, we want to see more of the directional stuff here. And the next biggest trades right after this 2000 lot is a couple big purchases, block purchases of the 19 call expiring May. So right away you could see, so this was paid above the ask price, 51 cents. This was paid above the ask price of 40 cents, so 51 and 42. That means someone was just probably trying to buy everything out there that they could possibly get their hands on, and they did this twice. Could be the same person, probably. It's the same strike, same expiration day. So, this is a pretty bullish signal. Someone actually believes that the stock is going to go above, 19 in the next month. So that seems to be a bullish trade. This one's a little bit more advanced here. This next one here, it's a 1x2. Looks like someone sold the 11 call and then bought 2 of the 12.5. And that's just about a week from now. So this is more of a short-term play. They did this for a credit. So if nothing happens, they make a little bit of money. If it shoots up above 12.5, they make money. So it's kind of like as long as it doesn't end up in between those strikes, there's a chance that they can make money on it. So that's an interesting trade there. Not the sort of thing that most retail traders can do because you need to have a margin account in order to do it, but actually not a whole lot of risk involved with this trade since they're long 2 and short 1. Anyways, so interesting stuff. We can take a look at Nikola here, you can see it did kind of jump up. So after, hitting close to 100, it started, bad news started, and it's pretty much gone down and become a non-factor as low as 937. Actually, just before this announcement, it was at it's pretty much its all-time low since it became an actual topic of discussion, and now it got up briefly above 12. So big move up today. We can look at the options here. So May that's where we saw those calls trade, and you can see if we go to volume and open interest here, we can see here that we were looking at the 19 strike. That's where a lot of the action was. Besides the 15, which had a lot of volume, although didn't have the block trades that we saw in the 19, but there was quite a bit of volume here, not a lot of open interest. This, people could potentially be taking profits or whatever because there was open interest there. We'd have to see tomorrow how much this number is adjusted, but this is clearly opening and pretty bullish. It's only 39 cents, so you basically have about a month. You're taking a flyer that this thing is going to go up. It's as simple as just buying those calls. So that's an easy trade to make for not a lot of money involved. When you're talking about a 40-cent option, of course, this is purely speculative. You're not doing this for some sort of edge necessarily. You're expecting a directional move, and it's just purely a directional bet. If you're interested in that sort of trade, if you like directional trading, that's what I do in Option Floor Trader Pro. It's my $49 a year service. There's a link on this page for that. So check it out if you're interested, and I will be back next week with more.